Hello and welcome to the Total Soccer Show. My name is Daryl Grove and I'm joined by the man who's always top of his Champions League group. His name is Taylor Rockwell. Hello.
Hello. I like to think I am, at least.
Yeah.
I like to think I am.
If not, you at least would make the Europa League.
That bar got dropped real fast.
Just giving you options.
All right.
We are here with our Wednesday Champions League review. It was more exciting than what happened on Tuesday.
I would say so.
Yeah?
I would say so.
So we're going to talk...
Inter tried to ruin the day.
They certainly did. Do you want to start there? Should we start at Wembley Stadium?
Sure.
With Inter attempting to basically go and get a draw.
Yes.
That's what we pretty much were convinced was happening.
And I've been making a conscious effort to sleep at least 7 hours a night. It is not my usual thing. I read a study that it was like people who don't get enough sleep are immediately more prone to like emotional swings and anger. Mm-hmm. So I've been trying to get the amount of sleep I need to. Even so, this game, those eyelids were getting real heavy. And Daryl Grove, I was starting to like doubt myself and wonder about, my levels and everything. Daryl was just like, no, I think Inter are doing this to you. I think Inter are trying to make you sleepy.
It's not you, it's Internazionale. They essentially played Icardi up top, Brozovic at the base of defensive midfield, and those four midfielders ahead of him would most often come back and hang deep. And if they got the point, they didn't, right? Tottenham won 1-0. If they got the point, it would have been a good result, right? Because then they'd have the better head-to-head record over Tottenham. They would have 8 points and Tottenham would have 5. Barcelona look like they're going through on top, right?
They definitely are.
They definitely are.
They have 13 points right now.
They have 13 points right now because they beat PSV 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about Messi's involvement because that was exciting.
That sounds good to me.
So it looked to me like Tottenham were just going and going and going. Mm-hmm. And by the time we got to the 80th minute, I kind of thought, they're not going to pull this off, right?
Yeah.
De Vrij has been just manhandling Harry Kane all day. It's not going to work.
And I thought the same thing. And then knowing that it did eventually work and we went back and rewatched some things, worth noting that we had this game on while we had the PSG Liverpool game on.
We'll also talk about that in a bit.
So I'm not going to try to say that we were like fully the experts and watched every minute of this twice. Mm-hmm. But I will say that I think we both had this idea that Christian Eriksen and Son come in second half substitutes. Yeah. And I think we both kind of assumed Tottenham have been very narrow. They've had a lot of their wide players coming centrally. So obviously these two come on, they play much wider, they spread the field. And instead, they pretty much did kind of the same thing that had been going, which makes me think that Pochettino really just doubled down and backed himself and backed the team to find a way through eventually.
Should we talk about his approach then?
Sure.
Especially just the starting approach. Mm-hmm. So the weird thing of Eriksen and Son not starting, I'm going to assume that's about maybe tiredness after the win over Chelsea. So you're not going to drop, definitely not Christian Eriksen. Mm-mm. Right? I know there was some rumbles out there that maybe it was all about Eriksen not signing a new contract. I don't think a way to convince him to sign a new contract is to drop him for an Inter game. So I'm going to rule that out. Either slight injury or basically he's just a bit tired and he's better coming off the bench, right?
Yeah.
Turns out Pochettino was right.
Yeah, because my guess would be that Pochettino, anticipated that this was going to be a compact, frustrating, probably physical Inter Milan, and you kind of have to be at 100%. We've talked about this before. Yeah. Even 90%. You tire that much faster. You make more mistakes. You're not quite as sharp on the ball. A team like Inter, and especially a forward like Mauro Icardi, Tottenham already know this, they can punish you. And so I think that's probably why they didn't start this game.
Do you think maybe Pochettino sat Eriksen down and said, have you heard of a man named Paco Alcacer? Because I want you to do what he's been doing.
No, I don't think he did that. I think that would have been a great strategy.
I want to talk about the maybe the instructions or the system that seemed to be happening when they started the game. So Eric Lamela on the team sheet was the right winger.
In a 4-2-3-1,
In a 4-2-3-1, but he very much drifted infield, right?
Yeah, and I really, all I can figure is that Tottenham's plan was get numbers in the middle to try to find passes through, find combinations through a pretty compact Inter Milan.
It's weird, right? Because there's a load of Inter defenders already there.
Yeah.
Including Brozovic, who's screening everything.
And then I think it was, and then open up primarily the right channel for Serge Aurier, Tottenham's right back, to kind of run on, and then maybe you catch Inter Milan out, or maybe Inter send somebody sprinting out to deal with that. That opens up space.
Yeah.
But that never really happened, in my opinion. It felt like Inter did a very good job of sort of inviting the crosses or putting enough pressure on without overcommitting that Tottenham had chances here and there, but it never felt sort of like, they're just barely holding on, Inter Milan. I was sort of in the final few minutes there, I was thinking, they seem to have executed this game plan.
I think the very best example of Inter being prepared for Tottenham is there's a corner kick, and Tottenham do the classic Harry Kane thing where there's a corner comes in, flick on from, I believe, a big defender to the far post, and Harry Kane has tried to sneak away to the far post like he always does for England. And the other centre-back, whose name I keep forgetting, not De Vrij, Krilinar?
Skriniar.
Skriniar. I was almost there. Skriniar basically screens him, right? He just makes sure to always just not foul Kane, not actually put your arms around him, put your arms in front of him and make sure he can't get to the ball. That looked like a team that was very prepared for a thing that Harry Kane always does. And I think that's like a microcosm of the bigger approach that Inter had.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I think in that type of game, it comes down to the thing that maybe Inter weren't expecting. They're prepared for Harry Kane to peel off at the back post. They're prepared for people to come central and try to build through the middle. Maybe they weren't prepared for Sissoko, because it's worth noting.
Yes.
I would say the other very good chance that Tottenham have in the first half is Sissoko. I think he wins the ball back or intercepts it, drives down the right-hand side, because I think
sounds familiar.
Yeah, I think he drifted wide on occasion to overload. He makes a good run. The ball eventually goes to, I think, Lucas Moura, who has a shot from the top of the box that's well saved. But again, that's like overloading one side, maybe doing something just a little bit different than what Inter Milan expected, and it caused problems. And you look at that in relation to the game-winning goal, which comes from that exact sequence, except
Sissoko,
just now
Ali,
you flipped and you're going down the other side.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Sissoko's entire game, because he really caught the eye, right? And not just because we knew that he was involved in the winner when we rewatched this, but he looked like a man who woke up this morning and said, this is Mo Sissoko's day. Any balls that are anywhere within 30 yards of me, I'm going to run and I'm going to meet it.
Yeah. I enjoy Pochettino playing the hipster card of I'm glad that everybody is now on the same page about him, because I've known for a while that he was so good.
I knew him when he had a demo tape.
Exactly. I knew him before he had a demo tape, when he was just walking by, doing stuff.
Just busking.
Exactly.
So, Eriksen scores the goal. Set up by Dele Alli. But it is Mo Sissoko who I think should take most of the credit.
I like that you're dropping Mo. I've never heard Mo Sissoko before. I dig it.
For at least the initial drive that has Inter suddenly scrambling.
Yeah. And it does feel like this was the one time Inter Milan maybe over-pursued in a few different areas and then under-pursued in a few other ones. That essentially,
do you want to name names?
I'm just trying to think who it was particularly. I think it's Perisic is the one who initially tries to put pressure on either one of the center backs or Harry Winks.
Yeah.
But because he leaves Sissoko, there's a little bit of space, and then you're able to then have a few more seconds, a few more combinations down that side. But I think because Perisic goes, a few Inter Milan players get pulled apart. I think Asamoah comes charging out at one point.
He does, yeah. He's higher than usual, right?
And then
in a defensive sense.
And so I think then, I don't think anybody else was worried about the other sense.
No, I mean, because when they're attacking, Asamoah would get forward. That's generally what I mean.
Okay.
When they were attacking. Because remember, De Vrij kept hitting those chipped balls for Asamoah to run onto?
Now we're on the same page. I'm with you now.
Yeah.
But I think maybe if you're Inter Milan, you've been told, don't concede any stupid free kicks in dangerous positions. Certainly don't concede a penalty. I don't know if they had to be told that, but I'm guessing they know that. And so I also think that there's an element of nobody really wants to step to and try to make a play on this ball because Sissoko's running at full speed.
Yeah.
I think there's probably a concern that if you step in, if you try to make a play, it's going to be a card. It could be, if you're already on a yellow, it could be your second, it could be a free kick. So I think everyone's a little bit hesitant, and that's why I think he's able to kind of just go barnstorming through the middle of the field, or through the channel, rather.
I think I use this phrase a lot, but I'm going to use it again. I always think there's that diffusion of responsibility. When you have too many defenders back, if someone starts dribbling at you unexpectedly, and I feel like Sissoko, defensive midfielder, you kind of don't expect him to be dribbling through the box. When you have too many people around him, you all think that because there's someone else there, it's safe not to take the risk and make a tackle. And what you end up with is nobody making a tackle. So Sissoko's able to make a lot of progress very quickly.
He is.
Trailing him is Dele Alli. And trailing Dele Alli is Christian Eriksen. It's kind of a beautiful move in that sense, right? Like Dele Alli is very smart about being ready for the square pass, the lateral pass from Sissoko, and not darting beyond the central defenders, right? He doesn't try to get in behind for a low ball.
Yeah.
He makes sure to be just trailing behind a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it's that. It's also, I'm going to guess, good communication, because I think Dele Alli initially is shaping to shoot this pass.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess gets a shot from Christian Eriksen, and so he, instead of shooting, kind of receives it and turns in one motion with his right foot, and then also plays it with his right foot in the path of Christian Eriksen.
It's like touch, turn, layoff.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Eriksen, one-time finish. Doesn't he? I think I've got the right goal here because we saw a lot of goals today. He has about two Inter players come sliding in to try and block what I think they're blocking, the low ball into the near post. but he goes top corner the other side.
Either way, I think he's going to score this goal because it really is because Inter had shifted everybody to one side. I think the closest player to Eriksen is still like 5 yards away when that ball is played. So it's definitely a scramble. I mean, it's a good finish, but all I mean to say is that it's not sort of like everybody had it covered and he found this one little space. I think it's still just sort of like desperate defending. They're a little bit out of control, whereas he's able to kind of pick his spot and finish well.
Can we have a moment just to consider the rough evening that Mauro Icardi had?
I mean, yeah.
He had a Bobby Wood evening where you're just asked to chase a few direct balls. But don't worry about like getting involved in too much play.
Yeah. I mean, that was pretty much it. And I think you could see some of the frustration on a few occasions because you could see him want to go, but then recognize that wasn't what they had been asked to do. So he would sort of wave everybody forward and then stop and drop back and keep his position. Probably not the most fun evening he's had.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
All right, where does that leave Tottenham in the group?
That leaves them second in Group B. They're behind Barcelona, who, as we said, have already won the group on 13 points.
13 points.
13 points. Tottenham second with 7 points. Inter also have 7. So I thought it comes down to goal difference. You correctly guessed head-to-head, and that is what it is.
Yeah, I'm up with the modern things. And so they lost 2-1 away. 1-1-0 at home.
Yep.
As you go down the tiebreakers, it gets to head-to-head and away goals as the final head-to-head tiebreaker.
Yep.
It's that away goal that puts Tottenham ahead of Inter.
I believe that's correct. There's like 9 tiebreakers, so it can be a little bit lengthy.
So what does that mean for the final match day, right? Because this was match day 5, match day 6, the final one of the group. Essentially, I'm asking you, what do Tottenham need in that final game against Barcelona to make sure they go through?
I mean, obviously it will depend on what Inter Milan do. If Inter lose, then all they need to do is not lose by a lot, or even then I think they still go through.
Match Inter's result, and they'll win on the head-to-head anyway. Inter play PSG.
That's the downside, is PSG currently on 1 point, bottom of the table, already eliminated, won't be making Europa League, so don't have a lot to play for, and it's at Inter Milan, I believe, whereas Tottenham, I think, are going to Barcelona.
That's going to be interesting, right? So Tuesday, December the 11th is going to be interesting in Tottenham's group.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You don't sound convinced.
I mean, I don't know. It's more so... I was optimistic because Tottenham really have turned this around. It was like the last second winner, I believe it was, against PSV, or the equalizer.
Yeah.
Then it was this win. That's a big win. So it's definitely possible to go to Barcelona, but they're going to have another excellent game plan and another strong game.
Or hope that PSV do the same.
Or that.
Maybe they should put all their money on Chucky Lozano.
Yeah. I mean, he had a few misses today. We'll talk more about him later on.
He did. You want to talk about what happened in Paris?
Let's move to Group C.
So,
let's do it.
PSG, Liverpool. This was another one where it was important, right? When they level on points going into this, both of them trailing Napoli.
PSG were behind
Liverpool.
Yes.
So
Liverpool 6-5-4.
So PSG were 1 point behind Liverpool.
Yep.
They are now 2 points ahead.
They sure are.
Because they won 2-1. Lots for the fans to cheer about.
Yes. There was already lots to cheer about, but then all the inciting of cheering definitely made them cheer even more.
So I want to say this is the game where I've seen the most of players, I'm phrasing this very poorly, players asking the fans to be loud happened the most during a game that I've ever seen.
Yeah, 100%.
The most player encouragement of fans during a game.
I can't remember if we said this on the show yesterday, but it had definitely been reported that Mourinho, or in a press conference, had said that like yesterday's United game was a like cup final. That's how they were treating it. PSG were treating this game like a cup final.
Yeah.
If you want to see a team,
they've already won the league. So.
But if you pretty much, I think they're what?
15 points.
They've won everything. Yeah,
they've won every game, right?
They've won every game. Yeah, they're doing all right. I think their goal difference is like plus 42 already. They'll hang in there, I think. But here, you could just see it like from the start. I think in the first like 5 or 10 minutes, you could hear Thomas Tuchel on mic in English. We were both surprised that was what he goes to scream, screaming at the referee. And from then on, you could hear lots of different players screaming and yelling. There was the very good defensive play at the very end between Marquinhos and Thiago Silva that ended in like a big chest bump and a lot of screaming.
They celebrated as if they'd scored.
Yeah,
right?
Thiago Silva did that a few times. Gigi Buffon did some of that himself. And then the big one would be Neymar stopping in the middle of a play to kind of try to get the crowd going and thus not paying attention to the ball when it was passed to him.
So Neymar was excellent. And I get we'll talk about how and why Neymar was
unless
excellent.
You're a Jurgen Klopp or a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, unless you were not supporting him. But that moment was definitely him going too far in terms of trying to interact with the crowd while a pass was coming into his feet.
I would agree.
You can defend it?
I would agree with you. I would say it depends on what he's been asked to do. Like, I really do. And I mean that sincerely. That, like, I feel like there's a chance that this PSG team were told, like, you've got to get the crowd into this.
Yeah, I believe that's what happened.
It just feels like every single player, including the manager, acting that way. To me, there's a chance that Thomas Tuchel told him, like, hey, when you have a chance, yell at the crowd, and maybe Neymar thought that was the chance. But if you've been told, go out there and pick the crowd up, maybe that's what he's trying to do.
Well, surely you got to make sure you're aware when passes come into your feet.
I mean, there is that, yeah. My guess would be at the end of the day, given the results, Thomas Tuchel probably not that mad about it.
The more, not more important, the maybe more tactical element that PSG got right, apart from just having the crowd singing and chanting and cheering the whole way through, which was very noticeable, by the way. There was a lot of good audio coming from that crowd. I think PSG broke Liverpool's press and counter-press in a way that I sort of haven't seen a team do to a Jurgen Klopp team for a good long while.
Yeah, nor have I.
Fair?
And I think
both goals even?
Yep, and I would say a big part of that is because most teams don't have Verratti and Neymar playing central to play the amount of pressure.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that, I guess PSG were theoretically in a 4-3-3. That is not what it looked like to me. It looked to me much more like a 4-4-2, but then occasionally it was a 3-4-3.
It was very fluid, right? Because Neymar was part like left mid, but then he was part of a front three. Yeah. But he came back and defended as well.
This is the thing. Yeah. And a lot of times when they would move into that 3-4-3, it was usually when PSG were in possession. Mm-hmm. And when that happened, the two fullbacks move forward. That's like the midfield to like form the outside parts of the midfield four. Mm-hmm. And it was usually Neymar who went central alongside Verratti. Yeah. And then that to me was very interesting.
Like
because,
left of center, basically.
Yeah. But I think those are the two certainly on PSG, two of PSG's most technical players. And then, you look at Neymar, I would say Verratti's not far behind in terms of like technical ability in the world.
Definitely in terms of can I get the ball off him? No.
Yeah, and that's key because if you're Liverpool and you're trying to press and you're trying to put these players under pressure, if you're going against somebody who maybe has a little bit of a loose touch or isn't used to being able to like having to control in that amount of pressure, you win that ball back. But when it's Neymar and Verratti, they seem very adept at either riding the challenge and getting a free kick or just settling under pressure and holding that ball up. And I think for both of them, they kind of thrive on it. I feel like it becomes a little bit of that like, oh, no, I'm bringing this down and we'll see what happens.
And then the other thing is once they evade any sort of pressure, one of the outlets they have is a man named Kylian Mbappe, who has the jets, has the smarts of knowing where to run, and is just an absolute threat, right?
I would agree with that completely. I would say, but they also have each other. And that's the other key part of both goals for me, is that it's not just that they have Neymar and Edson Cavani, Mbappe and Cavani. It's also that if Neymar does evade pressure once, somebody else is probably coming over to fill space, and that means likely Marco Verratti is now open. You play that ball to him, now everybody shifts over, now Neymar continues to run, now Neymar is open. And so you can combine that way with that technical ability and that vision, and it's going to cause massive problems for that Liverpool press.
So let's diagram that first goal, right? PSG scored pretty early. I think it's like the 13th minute or so, and it's Neymar. He gets Henderson and Wijnaldum charging at him. He gets out of pressure by giving it to Verratti, to Di Maria, to Verratti, then to Mbappe down the way. It just all happens really, really quickly.
And the thing that you said at the time was, once you're able to bypass that like kind of initial, especially if you're in the midfield and it's the midfield three for Liverpool, putting you under pressure, if you're able to evade that even with like one or two passes, suddenly that back four looks very exposed because the rapid rate of play from PSG. It a lot of times was like 4-on-4 or 5-on-4 in PSG's favor because they played so quickly and got in behind so fast.
So when I see this goal in my head, we've watched it a lot of times, so I'm pretty sure I have a clear picture of it. Henderson, Wijnaldum step, Milner is like up on the other side, and once the first couple passes have happened, they're in behind those three midfielders, and it is PSG's attack versus 4 Liverpool defenders.
Yeah, and I would even go so far as to say, I know we want to get to the actual goal, but I'm still in the build-up because...
No, but it's the most interesting part.
In like maybe 30 or 45 seconds before this sequence, Verratti gets the ball, and I think feels Jordan Henderson coming with the pressure, and really does just kind of put his foot on it and waits, absorbs the impact, falls over, gets the free kick. And I think that that also, I think, was part of what PSG were trying to do was... Look, Henderson's going to come or somebody else is going to come charging out. Maybe they're going to foul you, but if they don't, you can play into the space that they've created. And that's where this sequence starts is, again, as you said, Henderson comes out to help with Wijnaldum, but now Verratti's there. Neymar plays to Verratti. It gets back to him, and suddenly everybody is kind of out of sequence, out of sorts.
Would you go as far as saying that PSG tempted Liverpool to press and waited to make their move?
I would.
Marquinhos was kind of theoretically a central midfielder, right? But every time PSG had a spell of possession, which they often did because they were at home, he would go and almost be deeper than Thiago Silva and who's the other centre-back? Oh, Mbappe. He would go and sit between them, right? And almost like put his foot and wait for them to come. Like, I dare you to come. And then we've got Verratti and Neymar to... we've got a Verratti.
Thank you for reiterating Verratti. Always a good thing. But thank you for reiterating that because I was trying trying to figure out, like, I know teams have tried to play fast and technical against Liverpool, and it has not worked. Certainly a big part of that is that most teams don't have Neymar and Verratti. In fact, I'm pretty sure only one team has both of them. But I think it's also the case, you're right, that if one of those central midfielders drops into, like, the central center back role, there's probably that inclination to follow that player, but then suddenly if you are kind of collapsing on that, then you've got those fullbacks pushing forward, and now there's maybe 15 yards of space out wide. And I think, again, the fluidity of the formation for PSG was another thing in combination with what we've already talked about that kind of kept Liverpool's head on a swivel, and thus they could never really play their game the way they wanted to.
So once Neymar, Verratti, Di Maria, Verratti have broken this open, then the ball goes out wide to, I believe, Kylian Mbappe, right? Mbappe tries to play a ball in to Cavani, who's the target, definitely. It's half cleared by Van Dijk. And then Bernat, who I think no one has really thought about, comes charging in. And two touches? One touch takes him across two defenders. I think it's Gomez and Lovren, maybe. Second touch in the bottom corner.
Yep. Yeah. And it's the... I don't know. I'm sure he means to do this, but it's the great thing of taking a touch away from goal to then hit it back in the area where you came, because I think that always... The natural inclination, especially for the goalkeeper, is to always just assume that if you're dribbling left to right, that you're going to end up shooting to the goalkeeper's left, your right. And so to put it back the other side is always going to throw them off a little bit. And in this sequence, I believe Alisson doesn't even move. It just kind of he's just kind of standing there frozen as it goes in.
I'm guessing he's screened as well.
Yeah, that's probably part of it
quite
too.
See it till it's behind him, at which point it's too late.
But you probably also, to your point, don't expect Juan Bernat to come running through and rip a shot into the bottom corner. Yeah.
Okay, so the second goal, once again, starts with Neymar. It is, I believe, don't PSG... So Liverpool lose the ball in PSG's half, and I think Liverpool tried the classic counter-press, right?
Yeah.
They tried to win the ball back quickly, but unfortunately for them, the man with the ball is Neymar, and once again, people come towards him, he pulls a little trick, he makes a pass, and PSG are away.
Yeah.
The reason I want to stick on this for a second is that both goals start with Neymar attracting pressure, being good enough to get out of it, then releasing the ball. It's like using his on-field celebrity, by which I mean the thing that, like, people are scared of him and want to really close him down wherever they can, to really good effect, which is not a thing he's always been great at. So it's worth a salute to Neymar for
I can't believe Daryl Grove is saluting Neymar. I feel like that might have physically hurt you. Just then. All right. You're not even talking. That did not help. I loved it. It felt great to do that, he said through clenched teeth.
This is also the same man who was talking to the crowd.
There is that. He was, yay crowd is what he was saying, I'm sure. But again, it's Firmino, I think, putting Neymar under pressure. So maybe there's an element of familiarity from the national team.
Yeah.
But I think under most circumstances...
Apparently not. He definitely hasn't seen all his tricks because this one evaded Neymar. Firmino.
Like a very bad example. But me, for example, I'm okay on the ball, but I think if I have somebody, not even Firmino, if it's just Daryl, like, is coming at me at full speed and you're bigger than I am, there's always going to be that element of, like, I'm trying to absorb the tackle while settling the ball. And I think if you watch that, Neymar is not at all concerned about Firmino, other than, like, making sure that he maneuvers such that he is always in a better position to control the ball.
Yeah.
But in doing that, he then does, like, a little bit of a move, and Firmino, because I think it's Neymar, tries to bite and goes around the wrong side, and then Neymar is able to turn to his outside, and suddenly he's basically facing Liverpool's goal, albeit 70 yards away or so, but it's still evading that initial wave of pressure. And now Liverpool are kind of scrambling a little bit.
Here's the part I really like about this goal as well. So it's Neymar into Mbappe. I don't know if Mbappe takes one or two touches, but he lays it back off to Neymar. And then Mbappe immediately turns and takes off, right? Yep. He is just burning down that wing, ready for the return ball, which I also like that Neymar plays it a long way ahead of Mbappe.
Yes,
it's like a really simple, obvious, but effective use of Mbappe's pace is that you can put it 10 yards ahead of him, and he's definitely getting there before any centre-back can step over and intervene.
And it did feel like a little bit of an alpha move, too, because if you watch it from the reverse angle, from, like, behind Neymar facing Liverpool's goal, Mbappe, I think, isn't quite sure what's going to happen. And he is starting to sort of angle his run towards goal, as if to say, like, play it in front of me, I'll take a touch and I'll have a shot. And I'm not saying like it's like malicious or anything, but Neymar definitely hits it a good 10 or 15 yards ahead and to the outside. And I think he is definitely sending Mbappe
so
wide.
Like you're going to send me a cross back.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. But I also think it is the right pass. If he plays it central, now you're kind of playing it into where the Liverpool defenders are.
Yeah.
You send it wide to Kylian Mbappe, who I believe is rather fast. Now everybody, again, is scrambling, and that once everybody's got to sprint over and somebody else has to cover and somebody else has to try to cover that player, everyone's now out of their normal position and also trying to react. Once you're reacting, you're not really reading what's happening, and I think that's part of where that goal comes from.
And to complete the goal, I think Mbappe puts it in low for Cavani again. This time it's saved by Alisson.
And he does the, what do we call it? Shoot, the plant, the vegan
Yes,
strike.
Does he really? I didn't know he did.
Yeah,
that.
he did. I didn't know he did either. I watched it like 4 times. Yeah, he doesn't go with his leading foot. He goes with the trailing foot and hits it with the inside, and then it's saved by Alisson. And
Because
then
it's plant-based. That's why it's vegan.
Plant-based. There you go.
And you were very impressed with, in the end, Neymar's finish,
I was.
which you said looks simple, but is actually a lot harder than it looked. Could you maybe add some details?
I think similar to me saying when we first saw it, I was like, all Christian Eriksen had to do was tap it in. It's a great play by Dele Alli. And then to see he had a little bit of work to do. Mm-hmm. It's maybe the opposite of that, where at first I thought it was Neymar finishing with the instep into the very perfect side netting where it could only go. You watch it again, and really, as long as he hits it roughly in that area, it's going in. But it's still good vision from him to not just be silly or overly elaborate and not just try to smash it, but to recognize that Alisson's getting back up, but he still has a defender in the way. I'm just going to play it to the corner and see what happens, and what happens is a goal.
And I think it's I've seen other players have that same situation and drag it wide there, because there's only that one side of the goal open, so you know you're going there. But if you overdo it, then you're going into the advertising hoardings.
Yep. But Neymar does not do that.
Very quickly, Liverpool do get a goal back. And I think the feeling in studio, as we watched, it's Sadio Mane tackles Marquinhos, then goes down the wing into the box. Di Maria fouls him. And it is a foul, right?
Yep.
For sure. It is the one time that they really managed to dispossess someone and go.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that person who was dispossessed, as you said, was Marquinhos, who very good on the ball, not Neymar, not Verratti. And I think
he's good on the ball for a defender.
Yeah, and
it's different, right? It's different because you're under less pressure.
It is, but it's also that another aspect of what PSG were doing is so much of these sequences that we've talked about were one touch, maybe two touch passing. And if you're a Liverpool team that's trying to press and shut things down, if everybody's playing one touch, it's really hard to do that. And I think this was the time when Marquinhos slowed it down and tried to settle it and then take a couple. He was definitely planning to bring it down, take a couple touches, which is not what I think the midfield was trying to do. Mm-mm. And it's the one time that somebody in the midfield slows it down that he gets robbed of possession and Liverpool are away, and eventually Liverpool get a penalty.
Eventually Milner scores
being the key word.
Oh, yeah, it took a while.
It's not given by the center official at first.
Yeah. Human VAR.
Yes, which it's not the AR, it's the
extra
assistant or something like that. I forget what they called it.
Official. It's the goal line referee, basically.
There we go. Well said. That's a better way to put it. But it ends up being awarded, and credit to the center official for
allowing himself to be overruled.
Yeah, because I can't imagine that's an easy thing to do in that moment. Then again, as we already alluded to, Jurgen Klopp not so thrilled with the center official, so maybe he just says...
Let's talk about that. So Klopp said... So second half, Liverpool essentially can't put anything together, and anytime they do break through, I feel like Marquinhos, Thiago Silva, Kimpembe, all those guys are just blocking crosses, not really letting Liverpool combine or anything, right? It's impossible.
Yeah.
Afterwards, Jurgen Klopp is complaining that the ref made Liverpool look like butchers, meaning we're not a team that fouls often, which we know they're not, right? Part of the gegenpress thing is to not overcommit and knock someone over. Klopp felt that the referee was giving free kicks to PSG way too easily. Did you see the same thing that Klopp saw?
I mean, I saw the one where I believe I'm correct in saying that Neymar stubs his toe as he shoots and falls over, and that was still given as a free kick. And
that one's definitely correct. And Klopp's correct on that one.
I think it was given because the referee thought somebody had clipped Neymar, when in reality Neymar clipped Neymar. So that one's a little bit unforgivable.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I don't think I agree with Klopp. I understand why he's frustrated because there were a few challenges. There's the Verratti one that he gets the yellow for that I think could have been a red, potentially.
I actually think it should have been a red because it was dangerous.
Yeah.
It was genuinely dangerous. It was Joe Gomez, right? Could have snapped Joe Gomez's shins. Really could have. It's horrible. So, that should be a red card for that reason.
Yeah, but I think... If I had to guess, I feel like there's an element here of Klopp being frustrated by what the referee let go and then didn't let go in the second half. Because, for example, I think Andy Robertson gets a yellow card at the very end of the game. The commentators are like, that's him just getting frustrated with the situation. I would agree with that. And I do think he came through aggressively and I think kicked out at Neymar. Then Neymar goes down, and I think that annoys Klopp. But I feel like once you get into that mindset of... oh, nothing's going our way, he's calling everything, these guys are just diving, even when it's an actual foul, if you're already at that level of everything's going against us, this referee is terrible, even when the referee makes the right call, you're still sort of like, oh, of course, it's against us. That's all you're going to call, and you can sort of get trapped in that mindset.
Did you notice...
Or there's also a chance that Jurgen Klopp was just trying to deflect from the fact that they lost this game.
That's
also a possibility.
Possible. Did you notice how heavily PSG celebrated this win?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. They treated it like a cup final. When that final whistle went, all of them ran on the field. There was people like really fist pumping in the air as though they had just like won the Champions League, as though they had won a knockout round fixture, which I was kind of surprised by until you pointed out what this game probably means to them, or what this game probably is for them.
Oh, because Champions League takes on this oversized importance for PSG because they're walking away with the league.
And no disrespect to Napoli, who are top of the group, but it's Liverpool, and that's probably the team that when they first got this draw, they thought that's going to be the one that we're going to have to beat. It's going to be us or them in the top two. That is not the case right now.
So what is the case right now? How's this table looking?
Right now it is Napoli on top with 9 points. They defeated Red Star, who are at the bottom of the table with 4, and then you've got PSG with 8, Liverpool with 6.
So what do Liverpool have to do to break into that top 2 on the final day?
I believe they've got to play Napoli, and I believe PSG have Red Star.
So yes, actually I remember this now from the broadcast. Liverpool need to beat Napoli 2-0 to have the better head-to-head record.
And Liverpool are at home, so that's probably something that they'll take solace in. Meanwhile, PSG will be going on the road to Red Star, who, as I said, are already eliminated.
Yeah.
But I think, it's going to be Liverpool really having to go for it against Napoli. They have to win, 2-0? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So
they have to win by 2 goals.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 2-0 would probably be good for them.
2-0 would be winning by 2 goals. Yeah. So that, again, is Tuesday, December the 11th, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So those games will be the games worth watching.
I would agree with that.
Okay. We've got a couple more Champions League games to talk about.
We sure do.
But first, today's episode of the Total Soccer Show is sponsored by Grip 6, GRIP, and the number 6, Grip 6 belts.
Yes. When you've just got a normal belt with the loopholes in it, there can be a little bit diffusion of responsibility. Which hole is it going to be? Which one's going to handle it? Can it handle it all day?
Yeah.
Grip 6, you don't have that problem.
When you've got a belt with loopholes, you've got to check that PSG aren't going through them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they could do that so easily. So you can't allow that to happen. Grip 6 would never let that happen.
They would never let PSG create financial fair play loopholes in your belt.
Of course not. Of course not.
The Grip 6 belt is made of webbing, which is very important to how the Grip 6 belt works. This is a whole new type of belt.
I'm cracking up because I like the idea that there's somebody at PSG who has heard us and is like, challenge accepted. We're going to buy a bunch of Grip 6 belts. We're going to find a way through.
That's fine. If they do, they should use our discount codes.
I don't think they're too worried about it.
Because we know they're hurting for money.
Yeah, exactly.
So the webbing of the Grip 6 belt is what allows the teeth of the sort of slimline, lightweight buckle to grip on and grip on tight, just like PSG gripped onto the lead and Tottenham gripped onto the lead and did not let it go.
Well done. Well done, my friend. Unlike all those teams you mentioned, Grip 6 made in the United States.
Yes.
Every single part of it manufactured here in the U.S. So you've got the American product, but that it defends, it holds things together like an Italian team in the 1980s.
Specifically Milan.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm genuinely going to get my dad one for Christmas. I do recommend Grip 6 as a holiday gift. Holiday gift is definitely a thing you can do with Grip 6. If you want to get money off,
what else can you do? Yeah.
You can go to grip6.com/TSS. grip6.com/TSS. Link will be in the show notes so you can click it. And while you're there, you can get 20% off any individual belt and buckle, 33% off the 3-pack. So maybe you do 3 holiday gifts at once there.
There we go. And then just count up how many people are on your list and then make sure it's divisible by 3 and then you're good to go. And then just
everybody gets belts in your whole family. I'm sure no one will think that's strange.
Nah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't overthink these things.
The 5th uncle who opens it will be like, let me guess what I got.
I think that's what my brother is one of 6, and I think that's what they used to do is they would all get the same they would all get the same or variations of the same shirt.
So once again, grip6.com/TSS. Thank you, Grip 6, for taking a gamble on the Total Soccer Show and being a sponsor.
Oh my goodness. Daryl Grove, first of all, yes, I agree. Thank you to Grip 6 for sponsoring today. Second of all, Daryl has watched too much Marco Verratti lately.
Why is that?
Because Verratti is the stereotypical Italian of whenever he gets a call against him, he does the hands together and then sometimes it's the prayer. And Daryl, you did the thank you. It was the most hands together. Thank you, Grip 6.
Well,
I heard the stereotypical Italian plumber voice come out of you when you did that gesture. Put it that way.
Let's talk about some more Champions League.
All right.
How about Barcelona's 2-1 win over PSV Eindhoven?
How about it?
We did not watch it in its entirety. We basically just watched the goals.
Yep.
But oh, what goals they were. Oh, what goals they were.
Yeah, I mean, I think It was the first one from Leo Messi for Barcelona was like the definitive Leo Messi, I'm going to use your phrasing again, diffusion of responsibility.
Yeah.
Where once he's in the box, and I think it's because, again, PSV are sort of adjusting to suddenly Leo Messi has the ball inside the 18. I forget who it was who was supposed to track him, but they did not do a very good job of sticking with him.
It was number 7, who is
Uruguayan. I remember that much.
Guerrero?
Sure, why not?
I think it is.
It's either Guerrero or Pereira, maybe.
Pereira.
But either way, he basically lets Messi ghost by and then doesn't really put any sort of pressure on him after that. So then I think if you're a defender and suddenly the ball, like Ousmane Dembele has that ball, he's driving at you, and you're a little bit nervous, and you step to him, and then the ball goes wide to another player. You're like, oh, okay, we're good now. And then you look and it's Leo Messi unmarked inside the 18. You panic a little bit. And in this situation, they all panic, but none of them really step to him, and so they all leave him and are kind of reacting to his feints and tricks and not trying to make a play so that he eventually opens up enough space to get, I would say, an inch-perfect shot off.
So there's a drive, a 1-2 with Dembele, and then that inch-perfect shot. There's a couple of really good angles on this shot, if you can see it, where it almost looks impossible that he can shoot it in that direction, given his body shape.
But I
think is the magic of Leo Messi, is that he's able to do that.
Well, I think it is his body shape that allows him to do it. I think because he's so close to the ground, he's able to cut and shoot so fast. Which is to say, because he has a low center of gravity, he can do that. If you're taller, if you're lankier, you have to get a little bit more space to get around it to get a good shot off.
Oh, I know.
I think Messi can just turn and can take a touch and shoot in the same gesture, same motion.
I know Messi's short, but he's not sort of 4'2", right? So it's not as if it's all just the fact that he's short that he's able to do this. There's some weird next level thing going on with what he's able to do.
I mean, I would assume it's like pattern recognition, that once you're driving at a defense and they're all sort of backing off a little bit or not stepping to, you kind of have that maybe sense memory of, this has worked for me in the past, I'm just going to do this exact same thing, drive. I think he's always kind of reading what they're doing. It's not just head down. But I think he is very good in those moments of doing it's like a simultaneous touch and shot, that he takes a touch to create a little bit of space and then in that same motion shoots at the same time.
So it looks like he's accelerating one way, you shift the defenders that way because they're trying to screen that, but what they've actually done is opened up you to shoot back across them, right? And that's basically what he does here to make it 1-0. To make it 2-0, depending on whether you
totally
believe,
planned out.
Yeah, it depends whether you believe Gerard Piqué or Lionel Messi. It was either a really well drawn up set piece, or it was a Messi mishit shot that Gerard Piqué redirected past the goalkeeper.
Piqué said it was a drawn up play. Afterwards, Messi said, "Yeah, that's a lie. I just shot it wide. It was badly hit, but he was there and we got lucky."
I think the truth is in Piqué's laugh as he scores. He runs away laughing like, "Oh, I know what happened."
What I found myself wondering is which story benefits Piqué more? Because if it's like a drawn up play, then it's like him executing a play properly, versus if it is a sort of on the fly maneuver, it's him reacting really well and really fast, because that shot's going wide.
You've convinced me it's the latter.
Which one?
The second one. It's just you redirecting Messi's mishit shot.
I think that's definitely what he's doing there.
Nothing else. It's like maybe the best player in the world makes a mistake. You're helping him correct it.
Yes.
Oh, don't worry, Leo Messi. I'll shoot it on target for you. That's what Gerard Piqué's saying.
Gerard Piqué's doing all right in life, I gotta say.
This is not bad.
Not so much.
All right, elsewhere. Christian Pulisic started for Borussia Dortmund against Ethan Horvath's Club Brugge. So it was American v American.
I'm sure that's exactly how it was billed in Belgium.
It wasn't America. In some ways, Horvath came out on top because this finished 0-0.
Yeah. I mean, in some ways, I think it is still a Bruges team.
Not in terms of percentage of possession, for example.
74, was it 400% possession to Dortmund?
It was 74 or 75% possession to Dortmund. I want to say it was 74-26. Those are heavy possession
One
stats.
of those is larger than the other.
It is.
You heard
and
it here
yet,
first.
the goal tallies were identical.
They were.
Yeah.
And it felt like sort of what we've seen from Dortmund in moments this season, when they look like they're not going to score. Usually in the games we've seen them, they find a way through in the very end.
Well, normally they bring Paco Alcácer off the bench. They started him this game.
Maybe that was the problem.
Maybe that was the mistake.
But it was also the case, we talked about this, about their recent game against Bayern Munich, which they won, but Marco Reus had, 2 different chances that he really should have put away, but maybe had a little bit too much time to think about. Exact same thing this evening. He's played in, should do better, and it's a good save from Ethan Horvath, who kind of stands up, makes Marco Reus make a choice instead
Didn't
of...
Reus just drag it wide in the end, but Horvath made him go wide?
Yeah, that's what I would 100% say, is that I think Reus is waiting for Horvath to kind of overcommit or make a play, and then Reus can react to that, and Horvath kind of stands him up and waits for him to do that.
That sound familiar?
Yeah.
Isn't that exactly what we saw from Ethan Horvath for all those chances except one? that Italy had in the recent US friendly. Whenever they were through on him, he would not go down because like strikers wait for you to go down so that you've made the choice, then they can hit it where you're not.
Yeah.
Horvath never goes down.
Yeah, so you were correct that is the more accurate like reference point. I think if I'm thinking about this and being honest, it was either Mighty Ducks or Mighty Ducks 2 is what I was referring to about how you win a penalty shoot, how you win a shootout is you want to make the other person make the first move.
It's not wrong though, right?
No,
it's not wrong at all.
Nothing about Mighty Ducks is wrong, except for probably a lot of stuff. I haven't seen it in a while. I'm guessing it probably doesn't hold up that well.
I'm sure it's a wonderful movie.
Yeah, yes.
But Ethan Horvath did stand up to the challenge. So we didn't watch this whole game, right? We just went back and tried to watch chunks of it. What do you make of what you saw from Christian Pulisic? Because he is, whether we like it or not, he is not in great form. And he's in a contest with Jadon Sancho for that right wing spot. The wingers starting tonight were Pulisic on the right and Rafael Guerreiro on the left.
And then Jadon Sancho does come on for Guerreiro on the left. From what we saw, I was okay with what I saw from Christian Pulisic because it didn't feel like he was. Like he has the one volley attempt that he shoots about 70 yards over the goal.
Yeah, that
not
was a good
even sure that's an exaggeration. But like aside from that, it felt like he was sort of trying to make things happen in a way that it made me feel like he had been told, go out there and try to make things happen. Yeah. And I like to see him embrace that. I didn't see him do anything sort of like too direct or too forceful the way we've seen him do with the U.S. recently, where he's trying to do everything himself. It felt like he was content to beat people, but then he was looking to pass as opposed to, I'm going to do everything and dribble through.
I'd also say that from what we saw, that Brugge had a very, very defensive setup, right? Yeah. Everybody back behind the ball, like only just outside their own area, some of the players. It wasn't a Pulisic problem, it was an entire Dortmund problem, is that they could not penetrate this glob of Brugge players.
Yeah, because I mean, there's the one where he has a very good turn and gets down the end line, the goal line, and then he's looking the whole time for somebody, and I think he eventually tries to play it through to Marco Reus, but it's cut out for a corner, I think, and that's where he has the volley. But like we watched it a bunch of times, there's really nothing else he can do aside from maybe try to shoot near post and then hope for like a block.
3 players form a semicircle around him.
Yeah, exactly.
Neymar would have rainbowed.
Well,
but that's why Neymar's maybe next level to Pulisic.
Yes, exactly. And then Messi would have just told the ball to go in the goal and it would have done its job. Pulisic not quite there on that Messi plane. So here we are.
That actually, so we're joking, but that genuinely is the difference with someone like Leo Messi. I would kind of back him to get out of that 1v3 situation and create something rather than Pulisic just attempting that low ball in that's cut out, right?
Yeah.
It's the difference between the mortals and the immortals.
This is true.
Right now.
right now. It's a key distinction. Well done, my friend.
Do you have so I think Dortmund are through. I think I saw something that even though that wasn't a great result, that they still go through.
They still go through right now. They are in second place, 2 points behind Atletico Madrid. I'm a little bit out of water, so I'm like, I'm not doing a good job hitting my notes. But yeah, Atletico Madrid, 12 points. Borussia Dortmund, 10 points.
So they need... Who else is in that group?
Club Brugge and Monaco, I believe, on the final match day. You've got Club Brugge hosting Atletico Madrid, and you've got Monaco hosting Borussia Dortmund. Okay. I cannot believe that Monaco are bottom of this group with 1 point. That is not a thing I would have thought heading into the season.
Yes,
it has.
For Monaco.
Falcao, I believe, missed a penalty badly in their game against
I haven't seen it. I've just heard tell.
Yeah.
All right, so does that wrap us up for Champions League today?
Yeah, some other teams played. It was fine.
It was fine. I mean, we watched as much as we could watch, right?
Yeah.
I think we did fine.
Okay.
No matter what people say.
I'm good with that.
I think we did fine.
And we didn't even wear matching sweaters.
We didn't. All right, one final thing on today's show.
Yep.
We have not addressed the Total Soccer Show Scouting Network for a little while, so we've got lots of reports for up-and-comers to talk about.
Daryl's been in a feud with the Scouting Network itself. I think you guys have finally put that to bed. Have you? You bought a Grip 6 belt and the Scouting Network was like, okay, we're cool?
Yeah.
That's how
just like Thomas Tuchel and Adrian Rabiot.
Yeah, you can squash beefs with a Grip 6 belt. That's how it works. Yes, many reports to get to, starting with Nick Imhoff scouting Emmanuel Sabi, the 20-year-old American attacker for Hobro. I always want to call them Hodor. Things have been very quiet in Sabi land. He hasn't scored since September 1st, despite making 6 appearances in that time. Hobro, or Hodor, is a struggling newly promoted team that plays very defensively and tends to rely on the hope that Sabi can make something happen with his speed.
So Emmanuel Sabi is the remaining Scandinavian-based guy that hasn't been called up,
yes.
Right? Because Gall and Jonathan Amon both got their recent
I was nervous when you said the only remaining. I was like, what happened? Yes.
The Scandinavian apocalypse.
Yes.
Mike and Max Altschuler are scouting
Ragnarok, by the way.
John Choo Hilton.
Mm-hmm.
John Choo Hilton, 17-year-old American right back for Royal HFC. Mike and Max say, Choo alert! The USMNT's probably, could be right back of the future, has been playing for semi-pro Dutch side Royal HFC U23.
As you do.
For the last year, biding his time until he can sign with an actual pro team when he turns 18 this summer.
Okay, actually, as you do.
In the meantime, he has joined interest from PSV. Last month, the Dutch side brought him in for a trial, and he started for their U19s in a 3-2 friendly over Roda JC.
That'll work.
That's a name to remember. I've been hearing about Choo for a while. It seems he's made some odd career moves.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I would say semi-pro or like amateur looking to make it to that pro game is not a usual step unless you're in a movie.
Isn't this like a weird American thing with that 16 to 18 thing?
Mm-hmm.
If you've decided you're signing with a European team, unless you have the passport, there's a weird wilderness thing where you're just sort of wandering the globe.
Yeah, because we have talked about it because it's also the case that usually around that age is when you can be offered a pro contract by an MLS side, and so then you're bound to that team until they agree to sell you. And so it kind of you got to make a choice at that point of do you commit yourself to Major League Soccer or do you sort of tread water and bide your time until another opportunity presents itself. Josh Sargent route, for example. Haji Wright route, for example. Up next, we've got Russell Varner scouting Alex Mendez, the 18-year-old American midfielder at SC Freiburg. Alex Mendez completed a U20 CONCACAF Championship to remember with a brace against Mexico in the final. Mendez finished the tournament with 8 goals and was the primary creator for the Baby Yanks, so it's only fitting that he took home the Golden Ball trophy. He was also named to the tournament Best 11.
Oh, we're going to be keeping an eye on that Freiburg matchday roster, see what happens.
And I think I meant to move the order around. Can you skip on down, Mr. Grove, to Michael Thompson?
Yes, because Michael Thompson is scouting Chris Gloucester, the 18-year-old American left-back for Hanover. Michael says that Gloucester was also named to the best 11 for the CONCACAF U20 Championship after featuring in 6 of the USA's 8 games. The director of the Hanover Academy praised Gloucester's performance, stating that he, quote, is already very far, unquote, in his development and looks well educated. Gloucester will return to Hanover 2, where he's been battling for a starting left-back spot against a long-time Hanover youth product.
To be fair, Chris Gloucester does play all of his games with like a set of encyclopedias under one arm, so I guess that's where that quote comes from. Patrick Keeler.
His balance would be much more messy like if he didn't do that.
Well, he's like it's a weight thing. Like
he balances it out.
Yeah, he balances it out. Yeah, so he's getting equally strong. Yeah, it's all good and wise. Patrick Keeler scouting Anthony Robinson, 21-year-old American left back on loan at Wigan from Everton.
Look at all these left backs.
Well, one of them won't be playing. Unfortunately, the ankle injury Anthony sustained during the recent USMNT camp required surgery, meaning he will be out until early 2019.
Ooh. Oh, it's late 2018, so it's not as bad as
it's still like probably a month to 2 months.
I keep thinking it's still the summer.
Yeah.
But actually, it's still not great, right? Fingers crossed for Anthony Robinson. He's a TSS favourite. Patrick Snyder is scouting another TSS favourite because he's a local lad, Nick Tatagui, the 19-year-old American winger for Schalke. I still think Tatagui is the best best young American that not enough people know about.
Yeah. That's fair.
There we go. I wasn't going to continue till I got your.
I was genuinely thinking. I think I would agree with that.
Tatagui has finally returned to the field for Schalke, says Patrick Snyder. The 19-year-old has been riddled with injuries for the last year. It's probably the reason that not enough people know about him. But he's back doing what he loves. He scored a brace in an 11-2 win with the Schalke U23s.
Not bad.
Yeah.
It's a decent way to return.
It sure is.
Jonathan Holmgren scouting Foster Langsdorff, the 22-year-old American forward for Portland 2. Langsdorff had successful surgery on his right lateral meniscus and has an estimated recovery time of 3 months, meaning that he should be back and ready to go for next year's preseason.
All right, best of luck to young Mr. Langsdorff. Ira Jersey is scouting Ashley Sanchez, the 19-year-old American attacker for UCLA. They're in the Women's College Tournament right now, right? Oh, not anymore. Ira Jersey says UCLA and Ashley Sanchez bowed out of the quarterfinals of the NCAA tournament, losing to North Carolina on penalties. Ashley played most of the match but was ineffective and listless for much of the game, except for one sequence when she beat 2 players and assisted for Haley Mace while being fouled for UCLA's opener.
So that's decent, but obviously not the result they would have wanted. Better luck next year, Ashley Sanchez. Ben Sundstrom scouting Joshua Pinadath, 16-year-old American left winger for Ajax. Ajax's U17s beat PSV Zwolle. Is that what we've decided?
I've noticed that a lot of Dutch teams, you actually pronounce it, sort of like with Russian teams, how it's like Suska. I think it would probably be Pek Zwolle.
Pek Zwolle. U17's 3-0. Pinadath's cross was deflected into the goal by a Pek Zwolle defender for the opener.
I would just pronounce it, not overpronounce it.
Pek Zwolle!
Mark Ryan is scouting Gio Simeone.
Sounds like an insult.
The 23-year-old. It sounds like you've really worked on your upper body.
Well, that ain't true.
Mark Ryan is scouting Gio Simeone, the 23-year-old Argentine striker for Fiorentina. Mark said, it's been a rough year in Serie A. Gio only has 1 goal and 1 assist since the opening game of the season. That's 11 games without much impact for Fiorentina. For the Argentine national team, he's gotten 5 games and provided an assist for Paulo Dybala, in their win over Mexico. Did I just accidentally call him the devil?
I believe
for
you
Paulo
did.
Dybala in their win over Mexico. My apologies to Paulo Dybala.
Ryan Kinahan, here's one for you, Daryl Grove. Buckle up. Ryan Kinahan scouting Brugge, the 24-year-old Portuguese winger for RB Leipzig. Brugge continues to have consistent outings for club and country, but recently was in headlines when details emerged of his alleged and probable, says Ryan, attempted/brief kidnapping to intimidate him into signing a new contract with Sporting CP back in 2013.
What?
So essentially a group of what appeared to be like hooligan-type men.
Yeah,
it turns out they were part of an ultra group.
Hooligan-type men.
Well, like, as in, I think he was just like, it's a bunch of like big dudes who are yelling at me.
Yeah.
They had all the familiar symptoms of a hooligan group or firm, and then it came out that they actually did. They came up to him when he was like valeting his car at a hotel and sort of said like, you need to come with us right now. We need to talk to you. Ostensibly about your contract, and we want you to re-sign. He sort of fainted as though he was going to, hopped in his car, drove off, was then followed by them. He called his agent and said, I'm being followed. It has since come out, or his agent has reported, it was thought it was random ultras who were trying to intimidate him. It has since been alleged that former Sporting CP president Bruno Di Carvalho ordered the incident to force his hand. This is the same gentleman who let the fans in to assault the players last season.
I was about to say that.
Yep.
This is the same club where the fans assaulted the players, and guys like Rui Patricio, now Wolves goalkeeper, were like, nope, out, no longer.
But the allegation is that Bruno Di Carvalho let the fans in. As in
is that new?
As it was like, yeah, I think this is all recently coming out. I think maybe was sentenced today or has been on trial for many different charges. This one I think was alleged by Bruma's agent. Either way, not a great guy. Bruno
Di Carvalho. It's like an unfolding story in Lisbon, right?
Yes.
Oh wow.
But maybe explains why Bruma no longer wanted to play there.
Yep.
Just a thought.
Yep. John Fernandez is scouting Borja Mayoral, the 21-year-old Spanish striker on loan at Levante from Real Madrid. John says, Borja's lone nightmare continues. Borja finally got on the board for Levante, scoring in the 1-1 draw against second division Lugo in the Copa del Rey. But that's his only goal in 7 appearances for the club. He's doing slightly better for Spain's under-21, scoring a hat-trick in a 4-1 friendly win over Denmark. That's his 10th goal for the U21s this year.
All right. Next comes Dylan Veach, and I'm glad that you get to get the final one, Daryl Grove, because it will probably make you happy. But Dylan is scouting Kai Havertz, the 19-year-old German midfielder for Bayer Leverkusen. If only he were American. Kai played a role in both of Leverkusen's goals in their 2-0 victory over Stuttgart. First, he received a quickly taken corner just inside the box and chipped in a perfect cross to the opposite corner for Voland to head in. Then Havertz provided the MLS assist, releasing Alario for a counter before Alario crossed it back for a Voland brace.
Kai Havertz. James Porter is scouting Dele Alli, still in the scouting network because he's only 21.
That is absurd.
Dele Alli,
he has no business being 21.
The 21-year-old English attacker for Tottenham.
He's 27.
James Porter says Dele Alli put in a man-of-the-match performance in Spurs' 3-1 derby win over the much-hated Chelsea.
Oh, James is a Tottenham fan, by the way.
Okay. Dele scored in the 8th minute with a perfect flick to the back post off a Christian Eriksen free kick. In the 54th minute, he got an assist by delivering a perfectly weighted direct ball over to Son, who drove solo from midfield through the remains of the Chelsea defence to score the 3rd goal. He was also a complete menace in defence. Starting at the tip of a 4-4-2 diamond, he man-marked and harassed the heralded Jorginho in Jorginho's worst game of the year. I watched this, can confirm.
Okay. So it's not just James Porter reporting this as a Tottenham fan?
I mean, some of the...
I toned down the language a little bit.
Okay, well, some of the language that even made it through to this final report revealed James's loyalties. But watching the game, genuinely, Dele Alli did block off everything going to Jorginho and then got involved in the attack as well. It's the perfect midfield performance.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Are we sure he's 21, though?
That's what it said in the scouting report document. I've also been keeping track, because it felt like an overall negative series of scouting reports. It was a net neutral. We had
neutral.
We had 14 reports. It was a 7 positive, 7 negative. So there we are.
All right.
Overall, an okay time to be a TSS scoutee.
Dele Alli is 22. He was born 11th of April 1996. Dele Alli is 22.
I mean, 21-22 is not that big of a gap.
It's not, but it's It's 1.
Dogro fact-checking the scouting reports now.
Yeah.
All right.
Make sure you're sending the right ages in, because we just put them in the document after you send them. And every year those numbers change.
Yep. This is true.
Right?
I think so.
Yep.
I could be wrong.
If you would like to...
Sometimes twice.
Join the Total Soccer Show Scouting Network.
Maybe 3 times.
Here's what you do. You go to totalsoccershow.com/join. What you do is you can sign up for a monthly subscription to the show where you send us $5, $10, $15, $20, $25 a month. All of that, the many, many people that have done that, we are extremely grateful. That keeps this show going. Keeps this show going. Make sure that we can do 5 shows per week.
You've put a Link Ray song in my head right now.
A what?
Link Ray. He's like he's a surf rock gentleman, but he has a song that's like 5, 10, 15, 20. He goes all the way up to 50. So it's just like, I just started singing along with that one in my head. Thanks, Daryl.
I'm glad I could hold your attention.
Always.
It was totalsoccershow.com/join. Taylor Rockwell, thank you for taking the time to talk to me today.
Right back at you, buddy. Sorry, I was looking for shiny things. I got distracted.
Listeners, thank you for listening, and we'll be back again tomorrow.